Hi everyone, this is Lori with 3 Keys Astrology. And Scorpio, this is your monthly horoscope for April 2025. Not gonna lie, things are gonna get pretty explosive in your lives. So if you have your sun, moon, or rising sign in Scorpio, I highly recommend that you reach out and get yourself a personal reading. I have consultations on my channel that I offer. And I'm doing these videos for all signs this month because I've got a brand new written reading that's delivered to your inbox each month. Those readings are only $100, but they're personalized to you based on your personal stars. This month of April is really testing your mettle, and so those of you that are early born Scorpio are going through a major square to where Pluto is in Aquarius. Now, if your stars have Pluto and Aquarius in them, you're inevitably going through something. And I'm not kidding. You see, Pluto is one of our karmic planets. It's fated. And whenever he comes in contact with our personal planets, hence our personal stars, the way you think, the way you feel, what you need, who you love, where you live, there are catastrophic changes that are beyond one's control. The reason this is so difficult, especially for Scorpio, is because Scorpio is a rather controlling personality and quite dominant and rather obsessed with holding his or her power. And yet the stars are telling you you're going to be stripped of your powers. And like I said, we can talk more about that when we look at your own personal reading. Now, I'm going to start this with something that I'm offering all signs. There was a wonderful psychologist named Dr. Mark Edmund Jones who taught at Yale. And his son actually is a renowned astrologer who is living in England or Scotland. And he is as intelligent as his father. Not only did Dr. Mark Edmund Jones teach psychology, earn himself a doctorate, but he also wrote books that are very valuable to we that are astrologers. They're deep. They're not everybody's cup of tea. But he highlighted in his works the Sabian symbols. The Sabian symbols are universals or archetypes that talk about the roles that we play in life. Everybody's got one. You adapt to certain roles based on family necessity, or you'll adopt roles based on what you desire or wish to become. And those themes sort of are like a monogram or a stamp on your life that plays out throughout your life that are kind of ingrained in you. If you write in the comments below on YouTube what your sun sign degree is, whether it's 9 degrees, 10 degrees, 11 degrees, your moon sign, and I'm only referring to Scorpio right now. So put your sun, moon, or rising sign in the degree of Scorpio that it is, and I'm going to offer you the Sabian symbol. I will reply to the comments. I'll take that time. But don't forget to go order your monthly written horoscopes. You can put them in your daily planners and calendars. And if you want to get the whole year's worth, I'm happy to do that work. They'll be written, so you'll have them in real time for you to access at any moment. Otherwise, I highly recommend that you come and get a birth chart reading if you never have Scorpio, and then follow it up with the here and now reading, because here and now readings infer the age you are and the year that you're in at this moment in time. And I'm not kidding. You're not alone though, please. You're not being singled out by the universe. All of we that are Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo are going through major life changes, and these things are inevitable. They're meant for our soul's progression, and they're meant to cleanse us of things that we're doing that are not aligned to our divine purpose. So I'm going to start with a couple of Sabian symbols, and I'm choosing, if your sun, moon, or rising sign is at 7 degrees of Scorpio, this is your imprint for life. I'm choosing this degree because we've got a new moon in Taurus coming on the 28th of May. That's not such a great day overall. And it'll be equally difficult for you because Taurus is your shadow side. and that new moon beginning is for that area of your life. If you flip the script and get humble and get holy and listen to these videos and come and get those consultations and do some self-examination and say, you know, where do I need to be more loving? Because you're very attracted to Taurus, and Taurus is very attracted to you. That's just the nature of the beast. And yet, this new moon can indeed be some kind of enlightenment or new beginning, or shine some really sweet energy into your loving relationships. And they matter because you've got a lot going on that I'll explain. Something's ending in your love life, and there's something going on that you might not be aware of because you have Libra in the 12th house of your chart, Scorpio rising particularly, and that is a hidden enemy or some kind of secret going on involving the relationship. And the counterpart of that is there's a goddess of chaos going on in your workplace. And your workplace and public reputation are all being compromised right now. I'm not kidding. You have got to come along. Now, no matter where your birthday is, Scorpio, in this next 30 years, as your astrologer, I'll be able to give you specific times that you'll be going through about a 2.5, 3-year reconstruction period. And this is happening in your house and home. This is very personal. These changes will affect your entire being, from where you work and who you work with to who you live with, what's going on personally in your home. In fact, right now, there could be some plumbing problems going on in your home, Scorpio. And Pluto and Aquarius, you've got to really protect. This sounds crazy, but I'm not kidding. Scorpio rising, you can break your ankles. I'm not kidding. So beware of falls. Or what kind of pitfalls are in your home environment that are a tripping hindrance or obstacle? Are your ankles strong enough? Do you have good, strong legs? That's important right now for health. We're going to talk about your mental health because that's really, really you're getting riled up right now. But I'm going to start with a Sabian symbol of 7 degrees Scorpio because of the new moon, which affects your partnerships, your marriage, and any business relationship that you might have if you've got a business partner. The light of the new moon shining a new beginning there. So that could indeed be closing at the full moon in Libra, April 12th or 13th. Something that's happening now because you need change. There's a little bit of a war going on at your workplace, a little bit of discomfort and some kind of conflict going on. And also by the 19th of the month, it's on. If it's not brewing right now, it'll be percolating come the 19th of April. And it's really mano a mano. And it's quite serious. And we're going to talk more about that energy in just a moment. The Sabian symbol for 7 degrees of Scorpio is this monogram of your life. So see if this applies to you. This is a deep sea diver. And because I'm an astrologer and I know the characteristics, behaviors, and traits of all signs and personalities, this really is one of my favorite parts about Scorpio, actually. I love that you are not superficial people, and you are powerhouses when it comes to emotionality. And it's because you have this penetrative insight into people's suffering, into their needs, and where they're harmed or hurt, which makes you excellent people in professions of protection. Those people who work for child welfare that rescue neglected and abandoned children. Those psychologists or psychiatrists who can peer deep into the psyche of mankind. You are our investigators, our detectives. You're great at research and figuring out how to cure the ills of the body. And yet, when you come into this lifetime, Scorpio, with a Scorpio stellium or your 3 keys there, somehow, some way, your lives immediately, it could be a birth that involves life or death. Indeed, your mother could have passed away, Scorpio rising, to give you life. There's something very dramatic and very, your life is not happy-go-lucky. You're not the type of people that are catching butterflies and giggling drunk and wasting days with superficial people. You're serious and you're intense and you're captivating and very magnetic, and I like my Scorpios. So this deep sea diver imprint of 7 degrees Scorpio, according to Dr. Mark Edmund Jones, Sabian Symbols, says this. This symbol speaks to the rejection of the superficial experience, a desire for deep and enduring relationships, and a tendency to saturate or immerse oneself totally in a current interest. The image of the deep sea diver alludes to unshakable determination to investigate or explore every opportunity, unravel every unsolved mystery, and get directly to the bottom of things. The emphasis in this symbol is on self-improvement and perfection through subjecting the self to life's more challenging tests. On a practical level, this interest can involve psychological analysis, research, getting below the surface, and all highest. This symbol represents the extraordinary psychological insight and a dogged refusal to accept anything at face value or to leave any stone unturned in a search. On the negative side, in Scorpio, this is what I want you to be really mindful of and really check yourself. And I think you're going to need a buddy. I think you're going to need a partner. I think you're going to need some extra tools, which I'll gladly give you should you come get a reading, to help you navigate these next months, especially you that are born early. So that would be born late October to the beginning of November. Because right now, wow, it is on fleek that this planet Pluto is coming in with some intensity that is unstoppable and is going to trigger a lot of your maybe emotionally suppressed feelings. On the negative side, this warns us of what you turn into when you are unhinged, and you can rage and you can rape and pillage and destroy and burn down the house and burn everything in the wake of in your rages. I mean, they're powerful, they're deadly, and they're dangerous. So on the negative, with these penetrative gifts and this born in kind of a pineal gland jewel, if you will, between your brows, because our eyebrows indeed reflect our spirituality and they reflect our intellectual capability. Did you know that? So if you look at mine a little closer, you can see there's a big gap between the brow and the eyeball. And that infers someone who is of a spiritual nature, one who has faith, one who's high-minded. When the brow is low, I studied criminalistics when I was getting my associate's degree with a focus on psychology. And there was an ancient criminologist named Cesare. Okay, now I just forget it as soon as I try to say it. What the heck? Cesare I'll come back and tell you. Anyway, his theory was the XXY chromosome. And that is, and in his studies, in his criminological career as a criminologist, Cesare Ambroso, the XXY chromosome genetic factor. So more criminals who did the most deadly murders, crimes, rapes, pillaging, had this predominant male, according to physiognomy, one would see that brow very low, very bushy, a forehead that it almost looks like you take your thumb and put it underneath. It was sort of a hooded forehead. And indeed, there's a bit of a caveman looking face to this face. You've heard of eggheads. I own one. That's the high forehead or very round. That's a big brain person or a thinker. It's ectomorphic actually. But Cesare Ambroso talks about sort of a square, almost you could hold that forehead. And that is someone who's depraved. And that's someone who doesn't fit into society's mores and doesn't oblige them. And he's antisocial and he's aggressive. And so a low brow means not very high-minded and pretty impossible to move the thinking process. Low brow, head hung low, angry, a fury, rejected, dejected personality. And so unfortunately, Scorpio, that is how you handle. You're going to fight to the death. On the negative side, you can be the biggest stalkers, snooping, prying, and have a tendency to be antisocial, to completely withdraw from anybody or anything because of your trust issues. Well, those are on fleek. So that's the first Sabian symbol we're going to talk about. The second Sabian symbol that I chose is, I thought I went to 27, but maybe not. Oh, here we go. This symbol is 17, a woman, the father of her own child. And so right away off at the start of this symbol, we see the psychological imprint or the monogram of a woman that would have to become a single parent. Somehow, some way, she's got to be the survivor, the mother and the father. I had this misfortune in my life when I married very young and ended up having to provide and support for all three of my daughters with little help from their fathers. So this talks about this, speaks to the symbol of a man's struggle to meet his practical obligations in the everyday world. And this is a symbol of creativity, self-sufficiency, and independence. In Kabbalist terms, this symbol describes the integration of the feminine and the masculine, spiritual and maternal natures, and the blending of the heart and the head, the reason and emotion. On a practical level, it describes those periods in an individual life when his time is taken up with his job, the family, or other practical responsibilities, and he feels that he is not living up to his full potential. So whatever lot in life you have, if maybe you've overspent, or you've got issues with money, or some kind of catastrophic thing has come and a wife is without a husband and no partner in her life, so her obligations become so practical, burdened, that she is not aligned to her soul, doesn't have her spirit connected to her soul purpose. And in time, when the children are raised and they're supported and the family is well and healthy, the plight of every single mother or father, therein lies a new beginning and a freedom. So this is what this talks about. And at the highest, the symbol finds a capacity for accomplishment and the ability to find significance and purpose in everyday obligations to life. But on the negative, this can be a willfulness and a refusal to cooperate with others. Because when we're without partners in our lives, when we're unmarried, the freedoms that we have when we live unto ourselves without anyone's opinion, without anybody's inference, without anybody's consideration, it can make us rather selfish. So the opportunity here is decide what you want to achieve. We're all in a really pivotal time with Pluto and Aquarius, no matter what sign you're listening to. In Scorpio, while you've got some hurdles to jump and some obstacles to overcome, and they do mean death and endings, make no mistake. And they're rather crisis triggered, I'm sorry to say. These things are for you to get back to where you belong, because you could be in a wrong relationship or not in the right job for what your soul purpose is at. I'm telling you right now, you are. And the risk in this, should you get to the negative side of stalking, snooping, being reclusive, living with this big, huge shield not to let anyone in ever again because you don't trust and you don't believe. The negative side of this Dr. Mark Edmund Jones warns the risk is you've got to guard yourself from burning all the bridges behind you by offending others or cutting yourself off from those that can help you. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. And that imagery reminds me of someone who is abused, because unfortunately Scorpio comes into this world meeting those dark characters, and they can be in our own parents or, some nasty uncle that's abusing people in the family. What I want you to do is think about an animal that's been abused. For those of you that do rescues, they don't realize that somebody's come along to be kind to them finally. And so they're still trying to bite the person that's trying to heal their wounds or bandage their broken bones, or it takes a really long time to build trust. And that's quite important. And the reason being is, we'll talk about first the full moon at 23 degrees of Libra this month. And this indeed is your 12th house. There's some kind of ending here. So you may have relatives that are in the hospital. It may be you, Scorpio rising especially, that needs some kind of time out. Somebody that you care about could be incarcerated, as a matter of fact. In the 12th house, there's hidden secrets, that something's hidden. I've got a video on the channel about we all have secrets. That's the truth. Scorpio's got a lot of them usually because of their mistrust. And they're afraid anybody that's got heavy Pluto in their horoscope live their lives like ferrets, hiding their drugs or hiding their girlfriends or hiding their boyfriends, hiding their affairs or hiding their money because they don't trust someone else to make sure they're cared for. That's where it all lies. They're afraid if you find out that I really like to do this, that you won't like me anymore. So there's shame and secrecy involved in our 12th house. And unfortunately, this is the house of hidden enemies. And because Libra is the house of marriage, there's something that needs to be explored or figured out or dug up or dug into to see why I'm afraid to show who I really am in my marriage. What am I hiding, or what are they hiding? Now this Scorpio rising especially reflects, it's a health house. So this can be mental agitation. Are you feeling upset? Are you feeling, unsure? Do you feel mistrustful? Because this bounces over to Aries in your 6th house of your everyday work and your daily duties. And right now we have the goddess of chaos there. And that's really hard. Someone in your workplace is stirring something up. Someone's not being on the up. This is the open enemy house, as can be the 7th house of our partners. Why? They're the people that we have the biggest contest with. So we fall in love in this dream state, don't we? And then we have to live with them. And then we find out all the not pretty parts of our partners, don't we? And so they're our open enemy, and the person that we most contest with, wrestle with, to try to get some kind of equilibrium or balance where each are getting what we need. And we have to remember why we fell in love with those people. So I would caution you to take extra vitamins, extra rest, be quiet and contemplative, and be honest about who you don't trust and why you don't trust. And has this been a lifelong thing for Scorpios? A lot of times, yeah. We can have Scorpio grandmas that still say, don't trust those neighbors, or, have the windows closed or have fences all around their house because they don't trust. And there's always a reason, and it's good to get to the bottom of it. Now, I hate to tell you this news because we all have Black Moon Lilith in our lives for a reason. I would ask you, Scorpio, because you do tend to dabble in the dark side and you're not afraid of it. And Black Moon Lilith is on you right now. So are you Black Moon Lilith to your partner? Are you being the Black Moon Lilith at your workplace or to other members of your family? Are you so hell-bent on running their lives or trying to control them that you are constantly manipulating and calling and asking and driving, and you think you're the force behind their be-all and end-all? Maybe. That's not so good. That doesn't feel so good. You got to mind your own P's and Q's. And Black Moon Lilith here is a question where each of us have to say, how am I selling myself out? Because she's a whore. And anybody can be with her if they give her money or material or possessions. And there's some part of you, Scorpio, that's selling yourself out. And it's affecting your marriage. It's affecting your work life and your family life. And we've got Black Moon Lilith in a square to Mars in Leo that's happening on the 19th of April. So we're coming up. Your April and your May are going to be intense. We've got Pluto in your 4th house of home and family with Saturn there. And this square to Black Moon Lilith, and this is one whole half of your being that's affecting every part of your life. And it's not easy. We do have a new moon in Taurus coming on the 28th. I ask you to mind your own P's and Q's because the energy is not so easy. I've cautioned other signs to just take that day to be with people that you love, that you trust, that you know have your back. And don't be afraid to get a psychologist. You don't always have to go to the office. There's lots of psychological help now, telemedicine, people in practice meeting you like we astrologers do via a Zoom call. So you need some spiritual guidance in your life. You need to get real about what the rest of your life is about, because I've told all signs, we have a born on date and we have an expiration date, and it's no joke. And there's not very many people that are in control, Scorpio, of when they get to be born, to whom they're born with, and for whom they give birth to. The same thing as you've got a little bit of choice in your marriage, but where that goes from there depends on how well integrated you are to share, to cooperate, to belong, to adore them and make them feel vital. And that's the crux of the matter. And that's not an easy matter. This Scorpio, Mars-Scorpio opposition that's happening for the whole world is your career and your public reputation at stake. And there's some kind of war going on here. And it's going to affect your home life, and you're going to take it home with you. And this could be indeed the loss of a parent or a grandparent, and or the loss of your home. Unfortunately, we're watching crazy wildfires all over the United States of America, and we've seen the devastation. Pluto and Mars are fire planets, and Pluto and Saturn are death planets, and they're squaring you, Scorpio. And like I said, it could be plumbing or something underground, like the scary thing that happened to Gene Hackman, his wife, and one of his pets. There were underground rats that gave off these horrible flu-like symptoms that infected them and took their life. That's Pluto. On the other part of this that's so tragic is the Pluto-Mars opposition to Pluto and Saturn that affects you is Black Moon Lilith is here on top of you. And then you're ruled by Pluto and Scorpio. So this Pluto and Scorpio initial imprint of your soul with Black Moon Lilith there is bouncing against work, hitting you at your home life, and it's a lot. And I made for you last November, Pluto plows into Aquarius video 1, Pluto plows into Aquarius video 2. In May 2023, Pluto made his debut into Aquarius, but for a few short months to give us a preview. So think back to May 2023. What was going on in your life, Scorpio? Major changes. Indeed, major changes, because you were part of that beautiful North Node that started in 2018. So you can even back your life up to 2018 when the nodal axis was Taurus Scorpio. Lots of us got married. I am one of them. Lots of us met loves that we'd lost a long time ago and reunited. Major life changes, new homes, new careers, new lifestyle, new beginnings. But May 2023, and you'll see the video on the channel. I'll link it in the videos at the end of this video. Go look at that preview because I was rather scientific. And then go take a look at the Pluto plows into Aquarius 1 and 2. Now we've got to talk about rage and some more dark subjects. What is rape? Pluto and Mars. In agonizing in aspects astrologically would be the square of the opposition. That's happening. and intense, uncontrollable enragements that you frickin' lose your mind. And so I'll meet with you. I love you. I care about you. I'll be happy to help you navigate these waters, because this is a 2.5 or 3 year period that begins. We've had 3 Mars-Pluto oppositions since November, when Pluto moved into Aquarius, that are affecting Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. Make no mistake, those 4 signs will have conflict with each other. There will be confrontations with each other, and there will be monumental mountains to soar, cross, and we don't want to burn bridges, just like Mark Edmund Jones said. We don't want to become so internalized that we think we don't need anyone else. And we don't want to be so all alone when we're overcome by the grief and loss of material possessions and our favorite partners and our beloved parents and grandparents. Because really, that's life, unfortunately. And it's all lit up for you, Scorpio. So I do want you to know that there are some really nice days in this month that you can flip the script and shine the light on your partner and give your undying love to your children and your family members, and make apologies if you've been that manipulator behind the scenes trying to control your adult child's children and their spouse and their weddings. And if you're that person, back the fuck off. You've got to come to grips with how controlling you are, because every Scorpio is, and who you manipulate and who's letting you get away with it. And is it all that much fun? Because your focus should be on your own life. Let them live their life and learn their lessons, and use your amazing power to do rescues and make changes where they matter in a loving way, not a manipulative way. And sorry, but I'm a straight up no chaser kind of girl, and life's on the rocks right now, and we will be confronted with things and lessons that we need to learn. And so I can tell you that one of the most lovely days of the year this year, though there's an opposition with Mars and Pluto and a big square for you too, Scorpio rising. But Easter Sunday is a time of a new beginning, and the stars are really pretty that day. So go be loving with your family. Make sure you're getting together. Make sure you're building that foundation if you don't have one. If you've lived like a lone wolf and you don't want to, get yourself to church. Start making friends. Join a group of like-minded people and begin to build those friendships. No one should live their lives alone. And I'm going to sign out with that. I care about you. You are my shadow side. I'm a Taurus, so Scorpio or Pluto in Aquarius is also squaring me. It's in an opposition to all of we that are Leo, and it's squaring you, Scorpio. And we're going to go through some stuff. Hopefully you have someone that's ride or die, that you holds your hand, that's going to be with you through the smoke, the fire, the grief, the sorrow, and the loss, because that's part of life. Take care and come and get those readings from me. Again, that brand new reading is written for you. You don't need to take out any time to meet me on Zoom, although people really enjoy that one-on-one time. If you've already gotten your birth chart reading and you really understand your soul's needs, challenges, and wants, then get the here and now reading, and we'll have a consultation together for an hour. You can ask questions. I provide timing. I explain to you where the planetary energy is in your life right now for you to overcome these obstacles and where these things lie, because they're different for everyone. So don't forget to put your degree symbol to your sun, moon, or rising sign below, Scorpio only, and I will give you your Sabian symbol, the lovely gift that Dr. Mark Edmund Jones gave us. He was one brilliant human being, and those monograms or imprints that we wear can really be psychological breakthroughs to see, wow, you will discover, if you have the time and the gift of introspection. Not a lot of us do. Single parents certainly don't. But once you get beyond your first Saturn return that happens between age 28 and 32, you'll have a period of settling And now, wow, a reality check of holy crow, I've got this obligation and this car payment, these car payments, and this mortgage payment, and these little lives to protect and care for. But during that time, I would say between 30s and 50s, you'll see that, wow, I'm kind of repeating patterns, and my bad habits are having me meet the same types of people, getting into the same foibles, or having the same obstacles, or facing the same challenges, just a different person, different place, and a different time. But that pattern is set because of our choices and because we're attracted to the wrong types, because we need to learn lessons. And if you're a bull like me, maybe you're banging your head on that same barn door and meeting those same bad boys or bad girls and having the same complications. Scorpio, you do this too. You're such an intense person. And you're faithful. You're good people to mate and marry because you're ride or die. But your intensity is so deep that you want to know where every nook and cranny and every little freckle and every little part of everybody your lover is, that you consume them. And so you're kind of a monster for your partner. And you like Taurus. These two signs are very sexually compatible, and it gets hot under the sheets. But Taurus doesn't like you to be that intense with them. They need to breathe and have their own space. They love it when you're getting it on and you're all hot and bothered and you two mate and we're both very sensual and it's exciting. But gosh, people have to breathe and eat and need a little time out from all of your intensity. And you are intense. And you take it to work and you take it wherever you go, and it's just this smoldering, burning, I'm going to kill you because I love you and I want you and I need you. And that's a lot. So back the fuck off. All right. You guys take care. I hope you have a great April. I'm here if you need my services. But it is a good time to go talk to a psychologist and get to the bottom of why you're so intense. And most of all, whatever is causing you to rage and lose your mind and be out of control, because I'm not kidding, Mars opposite Pluto and Mars square Pluto, that's intense rage and anger. And you've got to identify where it's coming from, who you're taking it out on, who's upsetting you, and those people gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Because that's not going to do good for anyone. So take care. I love you, Scorpio. I think you're rather intriguing, so very interesting, and you make fine, fine partners. And I want you to have a happy life, not a lonely life. And I don't want you to be someone that other people avoid because you're so intense and you're going through one catastrophe after the next. You know those friends who call us on the phone and, oh my God, this and that and everything else. And I'm not kidding. A lot's happening in your everyday life. The goddess of chaos is there. And you've got Mars square Mars, Mars square Mars and Pluto, Mars opposite Mars and Pluto by transition. So there's a lot going on. And it's happening in your home. And that's pretty serious. Take care. Be strong. You are. And if I can help you, I shall. Bye for now.